Good day to you. My name is Teacher Arvin, and I am very excited to bring you today's lesson. So set your mind, ready your heart, and brace yourselves, for we will take the journey to discover the week 2 of 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world. Most essential learning competency in focus. Writing a close analysis and critical interpretation of literary texts and doing an adaptation of these require from the learner the ability to identify representative text and authors from each region, engage in oral history, research with focus on key personalities from the student's region, province, or town. At the end of this module, you should be able to study and appreciate notable authors and representative text from the different regions. Our country has approximately a total of 182 living languages. With these languages, our ancestors communicated, built their communities, and created unique cultural products. And due to colonization, many of our ancestors have used literature as front towards achieving unity despite the divisions. With this, Filipinos today must consciously choose to maintain a united front in order for all of us to be truly equal and free as a people in one nation. 21st century technology can help propel this goal into something obtainable. With the help of the internet, many contemporary authors from the regions are publishing their work online, whether they are using the original language, Filipino, or English. These young authors are beginning to speak a national audience about the reality. Some 21st century literature of the Philippines can be found in blogs, online newspapers, online magazines, online journals, etc. Also, a good number of performances of songs, skits, and amateur films showcasing regional works can be found in video sharing sites like YouTube. The literary texts that represent each region of the Philippines today are the result of the Philippines' evolution. Today's discussion will center on the various regions of the Philippines and some of their representative texts. Now let's proceed to the representative text from the regions. Before we will proceed to our discussion, let's have a short recap of the discussion we had last time. 1. Pre-Spanish literature. So this happened during the pre-colonial period. The literature is characterized by legend, folk tales, the epic age, and folk songs. Meanwhile, on the Spanish period, we have the propaganda movement that happened from 1872 to 1896. It was spearheaded mostly by the intellectual middle class like Jose Rizal, Cristiano Lopez Hena, Marcelo H. del Pilar, Antonio Luna, Mariano Ponce, Jose Maria Panginiban, and Pedro Paterno. Now let's proceed to the American regime. Americans influenced Filipino writers to write using the English language. English as a medium of instruction was introduced in the schools as the intellectual language of education. Now, number 4, in the period of activism. Now, campus newspapers were written to show their protest. They held pens and wrote in placards in red paints, the equivalent in the word makibaka, which is to dare. Fifth, period of new society. Now, poems dealt with patience, regard for native culture, customs, and the beauty of nature and surroundings. For number 6, we have the period of the Third Republic. The focus of the literature was romantic and revolutionary. Now, for number 7, we have the post-EDSA 1 was a prevalent topic in the new Filipino songs, in the newspapers, in their speeches, and even in the television programs. Alright, so before we will proceed to the discussion proper, let's have a short activity. So as you can see, we have different regions from the first column and different places in each region from the second column. This time, I want you to match the first column to the second column. The wide repertoire of literary works in the nation is founded in the Filipino people's unique cultural history. Because of their diversity, they have created a variety of literature, from Luzon to Visayas and to Mindanao. Writers create creative works that reflect their interactions with their environment, its people, and its culture. These masterpieces rang out clearly. To properly comprehend the meaning of a literary work, we must first understand the definition of imagery, which is important in comprehending the various literary works. Let us go a bit more into imagery as a literary device. It represents places, ideas, and even actions that appeal to the senses of the reader. Moreover, imagery is a poetic element that tries to create a picture in the mind of the reader or a mental image through the use of figurative language. So what is meant by figurative language? When we say figurative language, it's a language that refers to a language that intended to create an image, association, or other effect in the mind of the listener or reader that goes beyond the literal meaning or expected use of the words involved. So here is an example of how adding imagery enhances a text. So let us try to look the original sentence. She drank water on a hot day. With the use of imagery, let's read the sample sentence. The cool, refreshing water quenched her thirst as the scorching sun radiated on her. Now in this, you can infer that really the original sentence is way different with the second sentence, wherein the original sentence do not use figurative language, and on the second sentence, it uses different figurative language. Imagery is a language used by poets, novelists, and other writers to create images in the mind of the reader to improve the reader's experience through their senses. Now let's have a taste of the Philippine poetry. Alright, so our first location is the Northwest Luzon. Region 1 is comprised of 4 provinces, which include Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, and Pangasinan. The turbulent South China Sea borders it to the west, and the Cordillera Administrative Region borders it to the east. Cagayan Valley is the northeast and southeast, and Central Luzon in the south. Due to the geographic boundaries, the people in this area experience heavy rain, hurricanes, and typhoons, especially during rainy season. Alright, so this time we are about to read a poem from Region 1, which was written by a Carlos Palanca Memorial Awardee in Poetry in 1964. Carlos A. Angeles, his collection of poems The Stand of Jewels, also backed him in the Public Heritage Cultural Award in Literature. This time, we are about to read a poem from Region 1, which was written by a Carlos Palanca Memorial Awardee in Poetry in 1964. Carlos A. Angeles, his collection of poems The Stand of Jewels also bagged him to the Republic Heritage Cultural Award in Literature. So this time, we will read the poem Gabu by Carlos A. Angeles. Now that we are done reading the story Gabu by Carlos P. Angeles, let us try to answer the following questions we have here. Number one, what image does the poem Gabu try to create? For number two, which word or group from the poem help you form this image? Number one, what image does the poem Gabu try to create? Now, for the answer, probably someone on a beach at Gabu, watching the rough sea, contemplating about life. For number two, which word or group from the poem help you form this image? For this one, the sea is restless and can be destructive. So sea refers to life, and battling restlessness refers to impermanent, and brutal bashing refers to the life chaos, and elemental wound refers to one's deep trauma or life scar. Gabu is a place in Ilocos Norte near the sea. Places like this are affected greatly with flood and landslide. Alright, so this time I'm gonna show you representative text and authors from Luzon. So here are a few writers from Region 1 to Region 5, which is the Bicol region. Alright, so next up is Visayas region. The island of Visayas is one of the major geographical division in the Philippines. It is divided into Western, Central, and Eastern Visayas. The Visayas region is comprised with several seas. Its people, therefore, share a sea-based culture and tradition that is rooted with religious or strong religious tradition. The Visayas region is a dwelling place of different festivals, such as Ati-Atihan, Dinagyang, Sinulog, Pintados, and Mascara festivals. The Visayas may indeed be considered as one of the cradles of Philippine civilization. This time, let us listen to the literary text Salubungin ang Bagong Daluyong ng mga Agos sa Disyerto. Alright, so let us listen to the literary text Salubungin ang Bagong Daluyong ng mga Agos sa Disyerto. After reading the literary text, let us try to answer the following questions. Number 1. In what language was the text Mga Agos sa Disyerto written? For number 2, what did the text aim to accomplish? Alright, so let us answer number 1. In what language was the text Mga Agos sa Disyerto written? So for the answer, it's written in Tagalog. Number 2, what did the text aim to accomplish? So the answer for this is encouraging people to be excited about literature. Alright, so here are other representative texts and authors from Visayas. So Region 6, 7, and 8. Here are other representative texts and authors from Mindanao. From Region 9, Zamboanga Peninsula to the National Capital Region.